Hello, class. My name is Max Karg, and I'll be covering the topic of soil erosion and its connection to the formation of the Gulf of Mexico dead zone. So, to begin, what causes the dead zone? Well, dead zones are a result of industrial, but primarily agricultural runoff, nutrients usually from fertilizer or animal waste, runoff from fields head downstream to the Gulf, where microalgae called phytoplankton grow at very rapid rates. They die off quickly, and then their decomposition gives rise to the bacterial growth at the bottom of the Gulf, and they consume all of the dissolved oxygen, leaving no more dissolved oxygen for plants and fish in the area. And so here are some pictures of the Gulf of Mexico dead zone. As you can see on the left, that is the area of the dead zone, and then on the right you can see all of the area that drains into the Gulf of Mexico contributing to the dead zone. It's 8,776 square miles, and that was in 2017, which is a 50% increase from years in the past. And this is the size of New Jersey. Like, the state of New Jersey, it is that big, so this is a big problem. So you may be wondering, how is this a soil-related issue? Well, dead fish and plants are a result of a lack of oxygen, which are a result of microbes and bacteria and whatnot consuming all of the oxygen. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem because certain nutrients in the water would be the limiting factor to keep the number of bacteria and whatnot in check. However, when there is a lot of excess nutrients in the water, then they can bloom and boom at any sort of rate that they please. And so where do these nutrients come from? Well, usually animal waste and fertilizer from upstream in the soil. So is this a seasonal issue? Well, yes and no. So the algal blooms only occur in high volume in certain seasons when there are a lot of fertilizers that run off from the fields downstream into the Gulf. However, the damages can be permanent and result from seasonal influxes. These can harm the local ecosystems long term by decreasing the population size and also altering the patterns of reproduction. So how's it our fault? Well, we're the ones that put fertilizer onto the ground and let it run off, so it really is our fault. With modern farming practices, it's easier and cheaper to use a lot of fertilizer and not really worry about where it's going downstream and just not taking the time to do it the right way. Luckily, there are solutions and techniques to limit these damages. So this not only applies to the problem in the Gulf, but all across the world. We can eliminate the need for fertilizers, and a fair warning, this one is slightly political, with the last statement being think twice about kids. Less mouths to feed means less crops to breed. So take that as you wish, but I don't want this to get too political. And you can change your diet for sure to include more plant-based foods. As we've talked about earlier in the class, the lower you eat on the trophic pyramid, the less, energy waste there is. So with everyone eating in general at lower trophic levels, then we wouldn't need as much food. Therefore, we wouldn't need as much fertilizer. And then we could have farmers use cover crops and buffers. Cover crops are certain grasses, think really small items that keep nutrients out of the water, and then buffers would be larger plants and versions of the same thing. Both of them essentially just ensure that there are less nutrients and soil that gets into the water. Next, farming techniques can be changed as well, so you could till less, which has a few benefits. Not only are you using less natural resources to run the equipment to till, but also you keep organic matter proximate to each other so that it can form and build up so it's less likely to erode, and you can also put on fertilizer at the right time in the right proportion, very strategically and mathematically, as opposed to just dumping it on and hoping for the best. You may ask, do these techniques work? Can we reverse the damages or just mitigate future damages? Well, have some hope. So in the Black Sea, which there was previously a 15,000 square mile dead zone, it was fairly reversed, and the Chesapeake Bay has shrunk. The dead zone there, anyway, has shrunk in recent years as well. So there is a lot of hope, both in what we can do and what we can have farmers do to solve this problem of the dead zone in the Gulf by changing what we eat and how farmers produce the food. Here are my sources. You can read those over. I used some stuff from the Washington Post, the EPA, NPR, NOAA,